Tomb and Spider Queen coming up next.
Tomb is not a bad map for Zul, but I think it's significantly worse. And, you know, we'll see if it ends up being picked or ends up being relevant here. Well, the series is not all about Zul. I'm just, talking about how he may change the way that Miracle has to think about the series. They probably didn't prepare for it too much, but it has been, like, in the rumor mill,
Yeah, and Miracle did trade away, map choice for first pick coming into our second game. So we'll kind of see that swapped around. As we get into Tomb, which, of course, a very, very different map, different play style, and probably different picks here. I don't know. I don't think, I'm still new to the new Zul for sure, but probably a little bit less likely here.
He was originally considered to be very strong here because it's very easy to walk between lanes, and he can have a presence in all 3 lanes on this map because of how close they are, and it's very difficult to deal with that amount of pressure in lane. But what he was strongest on towers, for example, is the length in the lanes, how difficult it is to track him down. And then when you look at Infernal, it's his objective control, skeleton defenders, taking those out, also skeleton mages he can use to control that zone. And the altars, those are one of the reasons why he's strong on those other maps. So pretty standard bans coming through here thus far. Miracle went for the early rotation Rainer last time. It'll be Phoenix that's removed instead here. And Zul, first pick.
Okay. Grabbing that even over Tyrande, and I think, how much of that do you think is Zul just being very strong right now, and how much do you think is it denying that from Tempest?
So, I think there's a lot we could speculate on, but I think it might be a little bit of both, right? I mean, Zul is very powerful, no doubt, and you've seen play in other regions as well. Oh, we're just going to see the reverse draft now?
We absolutely could. That would be a little bit humorous. But
Zul is powerful on this map for the reasons I described earlier. We'll see Tassadar make it into this draft, so there's a lot to think about now because we're looking at possibly even double support here. Well, I mean, it's definitely going to be double support, but like a double support hyper carry in Rainer, so you have to think about what that could potentially mean and how you have to counter that. So we're thinking about what support you might want to ban here. Whitemane is the first one that comes to mind. This is a bit wonky. Like, this is getting a little out of control. They're going to ban the Blaze. So further removing that protection for this hyper carry range DPS.
Yeah, it makes sense. So they've removed not only the Blaze, but also Medivh, which can certainly, help out there. Obviously, I guess Tassadar is still going to be making this a stranger draft.
Diablo, I think, is the most reasonable ban here for Miracle. When you've got Tyrande and Medivh on the other side, there's just too much to pair. They'll ban the Hanzo. Wow. And I find that to be a fairly weak choice. If it were Ballistics on the side of Tempest, well, first of all, they'd never draft Medivh, but you'd be thinking, okay, well, who's SC going to play? Or removing his hero pool here, they've taken the Rainer, but with Tempest, it's a bit of a puzzling choice. Diablo being open, he's so mobile on this map because the lanes are distances short, and he's got Medivh. Jaina, Junkrat. Okay, well, now are we really playing professional heroes anymore?
Well, I don't even know. I mean, it looked a highest win rate hero for most games played. I think that is either Jaina or... hold on, I have it on the stats here. Either way, very high win rate for Jaina, but I don't know about the combo necessarily here. How does this even work for Tempest?
Well, let's see what Miracle picks first. They are going to get that Whitemane double support with the Thrall. It works because you have a solo laner in... this is a troll game, by the way. You have a solo laner in Junkrat, kind of, right? That's why Medivh can serve as like a pseudo soul laner. He can float around and give you vision. With Sion on Varian, I kind of think we're just gonna see Twin Blades, and this game might not be real. But I can't tell you guys exactly how these drafts work per se because they're so out of meta and so out of the ordinary.
And if only G-Clef were here, he would have called that last pick Varian. Guaranteed.
Yeah, G-Clef would have known. He's like, this is the best way to troll. Like, let me tell you, like...
Oh, if there's anyone that knows, it would be G-Clef. get him on speed dial in here. And he's like, no, guys, here's how this troll comp works. It's designed specifically, and then at that point I just hang out. But, oh, look at the smiles on their faces. They know. I agree with you. Probably Twin Blades here. I don't really know what to expect. You can tell Miracle are like going super hard into it. They're like, oh, we're going to steal that Zool away. And then they'll never be, and then Tempest just kind of.
Well, Sniper gets to play Tassadar, so I feel like we're in 2015 again, so that's always exciting. Cyan is playing Varian, as mentioned earlier, and everyone else is kind of playing fairly normal heroes for roles. Well, let's see how it all pans out. I think that the Zool plus Tassadar wave clear here for Miracle is going to be very difficult for Tempest to deal with. They have Jaina, and there's a lot of burst with that. It can actually burst down Zool because he needs time to swing to get those heals off once he has his level 7.
And we saw how effective denying that ability to attack to get the heals, the shields that he needs, was at making him a little bit more mortal than you might otherwise expect.
Because he's not a tank in terms of his health pool. He's a tank in terms of his self-sustain and his shield that he has. And he has, of course, Medivh against him in this case to, kind of limit what he's able to do when, there's portals to escape. You can portal away before the capture goes on here. I don't know what that Q is, the talent is, man. I play a lot of Thrall, but like that's not meta. I'm like, that was in Korean, it came up for 1 second. I'm like, I'll have to look that one up. I didn't even notice he picked that until just now.
Yeah, we are definitely seeing a few new things here. I mean, for me, as much as I try to, learn the subtle nuances of Heroes of the Storm, there are some that are maybe a little bit more subtle than others.
Oh, it's the bounce. It's the bounce one. It's Rolling Thunder. Okay, it's not really it's not too meta,
Yeah, it crashes here yet. So either way, let's keep an eye on A, that effectiveness, but B, also when and where Varian kicks in. We've definitely seen Varian so once this part, but I think once the last part as well. And he always comes in when maybe a team has like a pocket pick that's been doing well in scrims. It's been banned out kind of surprisingly sometimes because of that, but I feel like you only ever see it in like weird, wacky desperation moves, not, piloted by one of the top teams in the league.
I mean, Varian is, in Korea, usually used as a anti-mobility hero. Taunts a Tracer, taunts a Zeratul, and then that hero cannot escape, and then they are focused. This is the moment of truth. He will pick Taunt. Okay, so a little bit more realistic here, what we're looking at for Tempest now. So I was scared he was just going to pick Twin Blades, and this game would just be, I would forget about it tomorrow. But, okay, here's the big CC commitment with the Taunt and the Lunar Flare.
Chain on a Judy, but just look at how much that seal keeps him alive.
The idea, it looks like, for what Tempest is trying to do is to blow up Zool through burst damage and isolation when he's in the front lines, like this. Then
oh my
the
God.
concussive mine allows you to have that.
Wow, picture perfect. Exactly what you were talking about there, Wolf. Yeah, now it's a 4-on-5, no Zool to speak of, and I have a feeling we might see that a few more times this game.
I feel like after this game, no matter what happens, like when we return, I'm gonna be on camera and be like, I had this really weird dream last night.
You'll never guess, guys.
I had this really weird dream last night that they picked Zool first, and then he picked Varian at the end of the Jaina burst comp. And you know what? It all worked out like it was totally serious at the end.
And that's how I beat Shaq.
Look at this! Again, the taunt on the Judy. He's the focus target. That shield can only do you so much. He doesn't have 7 yet, so he doesn't have the ability to heal himself. You get that cooldown reduction, together, that pairing with the 4 and 7 talents together. So the shield's his first line of defense and last line of defense, at least for now.
I mean, like I said, the big sort of improvement is the Bash Bros kind of idea between Judy and Blue Beetle. Like they are just inseparable, together forever, no matter how long, from now until the end of time. Those guys will always be healing each other, and I feel like that is sort of enabling a lot of either pick attempts or damage onto Judy to not matter until he can sort of get his legs underneath him.
Yeah. significant advantage that Gems carried for Miracle right now. They've had the better wave clear with Tassadar Azul for a long time. They have, you know, this turn-in set up, ready. Very difficult to contest right now for Tempest. Tempest is going to commit in. Portal's up. Very risky, though, coming into this one. Judy's already used his shield, so that's something to keep track on.
Whoa, another huge Guzifine sniper almost going down there, but once again, huge healing from Blue Beetle keeps him alive, prevents a casualty, and keeps Miracle strong in the mid lane.
Okay, Nitrogen looking for the full completion here. Even if Frankel dies, it's okay. Ooh, that's not the geometry you wanted with that grenade, but it does the second one connect.
Yeah, still a successful cancel, and for now, you're right, Tempest has the lead in gems in hand, but not turned in. That's why it is still so important that they prevent any channels.
In this case, like, the gems in the bush are like worth more than in the hand.
Yes, yes. Yeah. 8 gems in the rock beats the scissors of the second hand.
No, 50 gems in the bush is worth more than 107 in the hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
We really figured it out there.
Or in this case, 72, 73.
We're never letting Wolf make up metaphors again.
Well, Judy survives through this attempt on his life, is able to heal through. He's got his shields, he's got Sniper's shields, and then he has the all the zeal coming through for Blue Beetle, who's just, you know, gone full Inquisitor build here. Okay, Sniper has dimensional shift, so I don't know if this was the target they really wanted.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, besides dimensional shift, Sniper's role, you said, I mean, might be most effective as somebody to limit high mobility, but I'm not really seeing a whole lot of that. I mean, maybe you find a way into the back line, but I mean, that's just like a little bit of optimism. Okay, well, wow, that...
So that was a big disjoint. You could see that Judy came in using his Shackle, which is, of course, the shield talent he took, but he wanted to get the damage there. That's why he committed his root to Sign. So he was looking for the root and the Shackle damage, and then suddenly Tassadar was in the wrong place, so that was... He had to retreat. His shield was already wasted. They're going to continue to push this fight, though. So the Web Weavers are pushing. This is actually great for Miracle because they can force everyone in this lane, threaten them, while the Web Weavers do their work in the side lanes. Because they've split Medivh and Junkrat top and bottom, respectively, this push mid does even more damage. And they've got Zul, so he's knocking out these minions very quickly, then, of course, dropping skeletons onto the forts, which means that the Web Weaver lives longer, is not aggroed by the fort for longer. He is, you know, again, in-game, there's a specialist next to his name. In this game, he operates as main tank, but again, there's extra elements to this tank who's got incredible wave clear, pushing power, delay power, burst damage, you know, 12% max health with his shackle. Main tank Zul is a thing. We have to, you know, we have to talk about it.
Well, I'm glad we are talking about it because it does add sort of another kind of wacky layer to what we've been seeing today. A lot of different things. First series and second, but I think this series is actually really delivering. Not in that it's like, you know, the perfect mostest high meta, you know, contest that we've ever seen, but oh, nice, the Lunar Flare comboed in there. Nitrogen just desperately trying to stay alive. The Sundering thrown out, but it just doesn't even do anything.
That was actually a really nice leyline seal, because normally the Sundering buys you like 1 second, then your team collapses, but in this case, you're all leylined, you can't come in here,
yeah,
and you can't save your teammates, so that was actually really well played by Tempest. Yeah, every Zul player knows that feeling where you root somebody, just walk away, and you're like, well, I guess we'll just leave it at that.
Aha! The moral victory is mine. You'll never be able to move that far away from me.
It's when the roots sound like, actually just starts to sound like a sigh, like, yeah. Interrupted here by the Banshee. Very annoying to deal with on this map, using the Banshee to stall. Wait, but there are limits to that.
Just trying to push, you know, Sign back, but of course, committing anything to him means the channel comes through, and that means that it's time for Tempest to have some Web Weavers of their own.
Yeah, so, you know, obviously tons of damage done. The previous Web Weaver wave for Miracle, top fort is dead. But with Zul, he's not only good at pushing, but he's good at deflecting. Look at all these skeletal, I keep calling them skeletal turns, but these skeletons popping up. Nitrogen gets out. Look at how quick this goes down with all the damage that Miracle has. Concussive Mine used here, but there's no follow-up. Judy is the target.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big explosion for the Riptire in the back. Does catch Blue Beetle, but by then he's had enough time to heal back up. And some, you know, there's only Raynor dead. I guess that is mission accomplished for Tempest. So now that Miracle has so much less DPS, they're free to push through the middle wall and probably the middle fort as well.
Yeah, they have so much mobility with the portals, and all the burst makes it so terrifying when there's no consistent damage to put that in check. Tempest could push so hard. I mean, again, we talked about how Zul has great wave clear. He's good at shutting down these pushes. Tastar's got good wave clear to shut these down as well, has shields. But this ends up being a more effective web weaver phase for Tempest, who hit 13 with that kill and this push. Shield on the fort is only going to buy a little bit of time. So it does go down. Zul, meanwhile, it's Judy dealing with that bot wave. This is not Tempest taking a massive lead by any means, but the fact that they have the potential to back-to-back turn-in means that they could be on the cusp of doing just that.
Yeah, they have really been cashing in on the gems. They have them both in the bush and in the hand.
Well, I mean, currently 0 in the bush with 77 in hand, but...
Okay. Well, their goal is to put the gems from their hand into the bush.
That's right.
That's right. They're trying to have their gems and eat the two, something like that. I don't know.
Well, it's a nice little push here for Miracle in the mid lane, giving them that space, but they just don't have enough of the gems to get a full turn-in. If they did, they would have it. Uh-oh, Judy in trouble.
Oh my god,
there's the burst.
One short from the turn-in, so a tragic cancel there, but still the lane line effective at delaying the fight, keeping Tempest, I guess, you know, safe from any counter, right? So they get the pick, and now they're going to find maybe more.
Yep.
Indeed they do.
It's a cool Riptire there. You could see for 1 second that he was considering. Dami was wondering, is that Scarlet Aegis armor going to be enough to stop me from killing him? He was like, no.
No.
And then he detonated it. You could see he hesitated for 1 second. He was like, should I wait for this to wear off? Nah.
He just goes for it. It's
Kills
like, turns
him.
out, yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, it's going to be that back-to-back turn, and now it's time to start panicking for Miracle. Now is the time to start worrying about potential keeps being lost. Yeah, now, this time they're not even talent tiers, which they could not say last time. They also have Raynor alive, so Frankel is alive, put Tempest in check when they're trying to just walk up and do that burst damage. It's going to be that answering damage. The Sign looks for the flank. They do not have vision of him at the moment.
I always worry about variant flanks, but I guess you know, that is something that he could still function as, and especially when you combo that with the Web Weaver's waves pushing in. Oh my god, that's gonna give me the entire game. Certainly very effective, even if it doesn't wind up, you know, starting a team fight you can win.
Yeah, Tempest hits 16. They're just unable to stop this push. They don't have any hard engage. Here's the attempt to kill Judy once again. Riptire not required. In fact, Riptire is denied. Portal in. Ley lines up. Tempest wants to win this game right now, and they very well may. Concussive knocks him out.
Oh, gets hit by the concussive, and boom goes the dynamite. Immediate deletion right there. I feel like that might have just opened up the floodgates. That Nazul kill means that the two biggest sources of synergy on Miracle are out of there. They are pushing for the core.
They don't have good hard engage. Miracle do not, and it just shows when Tempest is able to take what they want when they push through. There's no big heroic outside of Sundering, which when all waves are pushed by web weavers you can't flank with because it'll be revealed. Plus, Medivh is tracking your positioning with the Raven form. There's not really a way to say, oh, look, I don't want you to push this way. What if I just flanked you and then set up a team fight? You kind of just have to sit back, try to defend, hope for Tempest to overextend with a portal, take a defensive fight. But there's so much good burst onto Judy that he's struggling to really be relevant anymore. And this is one of the reasons why I thought that this was not the greatest map for Zul, because when you have all three lanes, you know, really easy to rotate between them and push the lanes. When you're winning, that's amazing. But when you're losing, the lanes being close means no matter where your enemy team is, if you try to split push, they're close to you to gank you, to kill you. And it's a bad time when you're the Zul in this case where the waves are pushed against you. The skeletons that come out when you kill the minions are not going to last very long.
No, certainly not. And even your ability to rotate between the waves and maybe clear them out. Maybe you can use that a little bit, but certainly not to the effectiveness on the other side. Now here's the same attempt to blow up Judy. Will it be effective? It looks like now the answer is yes. Okay, glad I held that one towards the end. They do successfully take Judy out, and after that, everything starts to fall apart. Look at that lunar flare catching Frankel right at the last second. Looks like he might still serve. Oh my god.
I mean, this is the kind of fight that the Miracle has to take, but I think it's just too little too late.
Yeah, I mean, Blue Beetle's doing the utmost, right? He's trying to keep his entire team alive, but he can't do it forever. And so ultimately, they will all fall down. This will be the push from Tempest that will give them a second game win. As Miracle drop down. Tempest, we talked about the unique nature of their certainly multi-class team comp. But, hey, they make it work.
Indeed. The one multi-class hero in Heroes of the Storm variant is indeed in their composition. Nice burst damage to remove the Zul. Some Tempest fans from around the world here in the studio today. But they're one win away from doing it. The one team of the big three who did not fall to Miracle.